Look, I think when you talk about who won or lost, that's not the key thing. It's where are undecided voters. Last night, Reuters actually had a focus group of about 10 undecided voters going into the debate last night. 6 of 10 left the debate saying they were going to vote for Donald Trump. Only 3 said they were going to vote for Kamala Harris. 1 was still left undecided. That is the true measure of who won and who lost. And the reason why I think undecided voters are going to lean towards Donald Trump is because Kamala Harris did not talk about the issues facing the American people. She spent her time trying to needle and get under the skin of Donald Trump. That might work well in a televised debate, but you can't needle Vladimir Putin. You can't needle Xi Jinping. You got to have serious leadership and serious policy, and she did not provide that last night.
Hey, welcome back. It's your man Wise. And yes, we got to talk about it. So pundits might have said that Harris won the debate on Tuesday against President Donald Trump, but undecided voters, they weren't so sure about that, to say the least. And honestly, it really comes as no surprise to me. I mean, she had her moments after she was selected as the presumptive Democratic nominee, because let's just keep it real. Biden wasn't energizing the base anymore. I mean, that man had the energy of a houseplant. Let's just keep it real. And she had her momentum after the DNC, and then that momentum stalled as well. And why? I think it's because no one knows who she actually is, and she's been a complete mystery when it comes to where she stands on the major issues, the issues that the American people actually care about. She's thrown out ideas like taxing unrealized capital gains without really explaining how that would work. She flip-flopped on Medicare for all, fracking bans, and the few times she came out with a couple good ideas, no taxes on tip, well, those policies were stolen from President Donald Trump.
According from Reuters and the New York Times, they actually asked a number of undecided voters in key states, how did you view the candidates going in? How did you view them going out? Reuters, in fact, had 60%, I think it was 6 out of 10 voters, who said they moved towards Trump afterwards. And when they were asked why, they said, because Kamala Harris was evasive on her answers around the economy. And I think she flubbed a really key opportunity she had in that very first question when she was asked, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And she didn't show a single really ability to connect with voters who are struggling right now in this economy and with the price of goods and groceries and gas. And she missed a real key moment.
Yeah, so I don't know about you guys, but when Trump was speaking, Kamala made a ton of facial expressions like grinning, nodding, and speaking under her breath. I don't know about you guys, but it was a major turnoff to me. She just didn't come off as presidential, in my opinion. And that's fine when you're 10, but it's not a good look when you aspire to be a world leader. So Reuters interviewed 10 undecided voters after the debate, and 6 said they were now voting for Trump or leaning in that direction. 3 said Harris, and 1 is still unsure. So this debate wasn't really about who delivered the most zingers or one-liners, but about who could move the needle. And it seems like Trump was able to do that. Also, the funny thing is that the moderators didn't even bother to ask about inflation, which you and I know might have been important considering everyone is feeling it right now. And when asked about the economy, what did she do?
Vice President Harris began the debate by punting the first question on the economy.
Do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America.
It went on from there. Despite the economy being the #1 issue facing the country, the sitting vice president generally reverted to talking points about a few of her policy proposals. Even Harris allies today are saying that she needs to talk more about what she will do for Americans if elected. Senator Bernie Sanders will be here in a second to talk about more about the need for her to fill in some of those blanks. On the border, another vulnerable issue for Harris, she also dodged.
Okay, great plan. She then went on to say that she's going to build an opportunity economy. What would that look like? Raging inflation, Soviet-style controls on groceries, rent, and more, out-of-control swamp spending. Here's Kamala's opportunity economy. 7.5% interest rates, 7% inflation, fuel up by over 50%, groceries up by 25%, all under the Biden-Harris administration. If you think it won't get worse, think again.
More hands. For those of you who thought this debate could be determinative, how many of you have made up your minds based on what you saw tonight on stage in Philadelphia? Raise your hands. All right, I want to ask you why. What did you see that brought you to a conclusion?
I think it's important to remember that we are voting for the leader of our country and not who we like the most or who we want in our wedding party, but who is actually going to make our country better. And we're in an incredibly unique situation where we've had both of the candidates in office before, and we've gotten to see what they would do. And when facts come to facts, my life was better when Trump was in office. The economy was higher, inflation was lower, things were better overall. And now with Kamala's administration, things haven't been so fantastic. And she's saying she can fix the problems that her administration has caused, but I just don't know if I can afford to take that risk.
Oh yeah, like I said before, I think Trump could have done better in this debate. But at the end of the day, I think it was a wash. Kamala didn't live up to the hype. The whole point was to figure out who she really is, and that didn't really happen with this debate. People tend to stick with what they know over what they don't. And there's still a lot we don't know about Harris, especially for those undecided voters. We already know what we're getting when it comes to Donald Trump. His record is out there for everyone to see. We've already lived through a Trump administration. Things were a whole heck of a lot better. So the debate really wasn't about him. It was about Kamala, and I don't think she actually rose to the occasion. Her big problem is she talks a lot about what she's going to do, but there's no track record to back it up. And for undecided voters, this didn't really do her any favors. I don't think she lost people, but I don't think she won anybody over either. Here's the thing with Trump. We know what he did in office. No, he wasn't the smoothest debater. I don't really think he brought his A game this time around. But to be fair, he walked into a trap, into a 3-1 debate against the moderators like we've never seen before. But when you compare the economy under Trump to what we're dealing with right now, it's night and day. And voters are a lot more sensitive than the left likes to admit to the impacts of government giveaways on inflation. Under Trump, we had a better economy, lower inflation, and a stronger America. Meanwhile, Kamala's up there telling us that she can fix the problems that her administration caused in the first place. Who's buying that? And if Kamala couldn't outshine Biden in 3 years, why should we believe she'll start right now? All those executive orders and policies she's now promising for day one, why didn't she push for them as VP? It's all talk, no action. And the American people, we're more like Marshawn Lynch. We're about that action, boss.
I believe she's just another cog in the system. The reality is President Biden, Kamala Harris, they're part of the managerial class that in many ways her policy deficits and Biden's cognitive deficits, those were not bugs, they were features for the managerial class that really controls them. So I think if Kamala Harris wants to prove that she really is a candidate with an ideology, I think in some ways it's to give her too much credit to say she's ideological. Bernie Sanders has an ideology, I disagree with it, but at least he's been clear about what that is. Kamala Harris tried to run to the left of Bernie Sanders on single-payer health care, on bans on fracking and offshore drilling, said she favored an end to the filibuster to ram through the Green New Deal. Those aren't her positions now. To me, that's an indicative of a deeper problem of somebody who's just operating in a machine. And I think a good message for President Trump to deliver tonight, I know he believes it and I think it's true, is that we're not just running against a candidate, the one we'll see on stage tonight, which is a different candidate than we saw on stage a few months ago. We're really running against a machine that frankly exists in some element in both parties. But that's part of why you're seeing many Democrats also defect to join the Trump campaign as well. This is bigger than Republicans versus Democrats
defecting to join the Trump campaign.
You see Tulsi Gabbard, you see RFK, you see a range.
But you're also seeing
Democrats.
Republicans like Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney on the other side. It goes both ways.
Well, actually, that makes my point, because this is not about Republicans versus Democrats. It's about that managerial class, that machine, the professional politician, the Dick Cheney to Liz Cheney to Kamala Harris to Joe Biden, versus outsiders who really want to come in and shake up the system.
Vivek is absolutely right. I think Americans are sick and tired of this managerial class, of which Harris is and has always been a part of. Well scripted, well rehearsed, but when you peel back the layers, there's nothing there that's original. She'll say anything. She'll say whatever her donors or the elites want her to say. Saying that a bunch of neocon warmongers now support you as the Democrat nominee or the next Democrat nominee isn't the flex that she probably think it is. I mean, this managerial class that Vivek's referencing to operates within a distinct set of interests and priorities that rarely align with the needs of the American people. And I think it was on full display at the debate and is part of the reason why this debate didn't really move the needle for her. At the end of the day, I think Trump came out as a disgruntled patriot, angry about a failing America, and Kamala came off as an arrogant elitist, making fun of him, making fun of us, to be honest with you. And, and she's making fun of him because of the mess she helped to create. And I think that voters care more about the things that matter, and they know that Trump has a record of fixing these things. But I want to hear what you guys think. I know, some of you guys may already be voting for Trump, but do you wish he would have handled some of those things differently? How do you think he came across? And what about Kamala? Do you know anyone that changed their mind after this debate one way or another? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe, share it with your friends, your family. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video, and stay tuned because we've got a lot more to unpack leading up to November. I appreciate each person that supports the channel, supports what we do over here. Consider joining the ARP family. God bless each person that has joined the ARP family. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up, and we'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.